What's up? We are live talking Sword Art Online. My name is Carrie Lane, and I'm joined by a full house tonight. Super excited. There we go, that way. We got Bryce, we got Kirito himself, we got Kimberly, and Deneen. We got Tisei, Ronie, bringing them back because they were here way back when, if you remember when we talked about the show, when we were all in person. But yay, everybody's here!
Yay!
Yay!
So welcome everybody who's joining us live in the chat. Have your questions ready. And if you're watching this later, no problem. Comment down below your thoughts on the episode. And we're only talking about this one, so no spoilers getting ahead. But let's first go into it. Well, let's first say hello to Bryce. So welcome back, Kirito, back from your deep slumber.
Right?
How does it feel to be back?
It was a nice nap, but it was time to get back up and fight again. Yeah, it's definitely been exciting being able to see Kirito back on Toonami, not just breathing, right? Because he was there breathing a little bit. But it's nice to be back yelling again, as he should be.
Yeah, because it's pretty much just like a lot of exhales, inhales, or something, or maybe grunts. I think if you put just on the subtitles for closed caption, it's like grunts or something, and it's like, no. So how was that to hit the ground running that way? Because, you know, you go from before in previous seasons and such, even earlier, technically, first part of the season, it's just so much action, and then it's like nothing in a way. And then back.
Yeah, it's happened before, you know. The show kind of goes through these different changes, and I think that's what makes it really interesting. Of course, I love being there in the action, but it's kind of cool to focus on some other characters. But yeah, you're right. Last week when Kirito started talking again, those emotional moments where he's literally ripping his chest apart, like tearing his heart out, like it is a crazy way to come back. And this week's episode, like right to battle. I thought that was just so cool to jump right into it.
Yes, and we're showing some comments here. Thank you, everybody, for your comments on the show. And everybody's here saying hello. Here we go, getting to some people. Thank you, everybody. Yay, I like this. Bryce, trooper for waiting it out. Yes. And agreed, definitely glad to have Kirito back. All right, let me add this here. We'll get to Sword Art. Boom. All right. Then also for the ladies, your characters were probably more heavily involved at the beginning half of this season, and there was more small parts, and now it's a bit more of a presence, I would say, and more proactive in the fight. So how has it been for you to come back and essentially call upon ghosts as well? We'll start down, Kimberly.
I just love that moment when Tisei says that prayer, basically, to Yu-Gi-Oh, willing him to come back and help in the fight. And the moment when he returns and places his hand on Kirito is just so touching. So I loved being a part of that.
Yeah. And Deneen, that way. Yes.
Yeah, over here. Yeah, no, I mean, Ronie has been there, you know, with Kirito and had even tried to defend him at some point, you know, and of course she's just so tiny and small, but she tries.
Small yet mighty.
Exactly, she tries. And it was just the moment where, you know, Kirito wakes up and Bryce comes back. For me, it was so exciting because I was excited, and I could feel how Ronie was so excited too, because, you know, she won't admit it, but she has some intense feelings for him. So yeah.
Doesn't everybody on the show?
All ladies love Kirito. That's kind of the rule.
Yeah. Whether it's romantic or not, they all just adore him, and I mean, can you blame them?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that shot of everybody's faces just like lighting up when he comes back. Yeah. I mean,
I was. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, and it's not even just the ladies.
Yeah, I felt it. I think everybody felt it. Just like everybody who was involved. You know, we were just like, he's back.
I mean, we'll talk about it too. We get Klein getting very emotional too. So it's pretty much everybody. So yeah, the episode 19, Awakening, we start with Visago and Kirito doing a pretty epic fight, though it is a little bit rocky. Bryce, is there any, I mean, obviously the script and what's going on dictates it, but you know, this fight, Kirito's a little more rocky. Obviously, he's a little rusty. Is there a difference, or how do you approach that kind of performance of, you know, normally Kirito's here and he's amazing, and this part it's like, no, you have to struggle. So how do you bring that back?
I mean, it's just kind of living in those moments as much as possible, kind of trying to connect to the character while during this particular episode, I was just talking about my setup, and apologies for the mess behind me. I'm literally building a booth so I don't have to do this anymore. I was in a closet, a very kind of small closet, screaming. So living in that moment, being in the battle, and yet being in a closet and yelling. So it's definitely a challenge during these times, but of course we want to be safe. And I'm just really, really happy with how it came out. You know, all the moments that you were supposed to feel like you're in that battle, everything I was hoping for landed the right way. And you know, working with Alex Von David, the director, is always incredible, even when it's remote. And in this circumstance, you know, we still found lots of moments to enjoy ourselves and have fun and really get into it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, we got another little shout out for Deneen and Kimberly. Yay.
Oh, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
So sweet.
And then
Hi, Alan.
We got also Kirito is the ultimate harem. Yes, let's be real. But he also inspires. I do agree that that's true. Also, I like this approach. We got Klein was the original member of their harem.
Very true, Tony. That's a good point. Number one.
Yeah. And then as Bryce, as you were just saying, at Kirito's battle Cries, because he has so much energy there, even though he's come out of the state and everything. And actually, that's a question. Do you think Kirito, is aware of how much he inspires those around him? Because, you know, like if you know how much you impact those around you, it can weigh heavily upon you, but then you could also just do it because that's who you are. So for you, how do you think Kirito approaches that inspirational aspect of himself? How aware is he?
I think that's who he is. I think he's being authentic and really feels so deeply about the people around him. Whether it's in a game or in the real world, like he has those authentic feelings. And I try to play it as real as possible. And by the way, thank you so much for appreciating those screams. You guys have no idea how insane it was trying to get those to sound clean from a closet. Normally, and why I'm building this, is you can back away from the mic if you have a little more space, and then you can let it go and yell louder. And if you hold it back, it doesn't sound the same. And I really didn't want to hold anything back for Kirito. So there were a lot of times when I distorted my microphone, and I had to get really creative in all of these fight scenes, like was literally twisted and trying to find the right angle that I could scream as loud as possible, and it wouldn't just make my microphone explode. Mm-hmm. So thank you. I'm so glad that you guys appreciate it.
You seem to get a lot of characters who yell a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of loud. We're seeing a trend here.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And and then even Deneen and Kimberly, you both have your own cries out of like, no, you can't let this happen to our Kirito or those around you as well. Did you have any difficulties in recording more energetic outbursts, if you will, Deneen?
I didn't in terms of like technical, but I mean, it's always hard with Ronie just because it's that high, cute voice, and to to keep that voice and to be like, rah, you know. But Alex is wonderful, our director, and always knows exactly like how to like say it and express it in order to get the right performance out of you. Like he'll say something and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll try that. And then you do it again and it's like, there it is. There it is. So, I mean, yeah.
Nice. And Kimberly.
I didn't have a technical problem as far as the screaming. Sometimes, like with Tisei, it's super important because, you know, she doesn't have that many lines to really get the emotion in, you know, those moments. So there were times over like Source Connect when we're connected that it might like drop out or something during a take. And it would be the perfect take, you know, like Alex would be super happy and then it'd be like, okay, do that exact same thing again. So just like a little technical stuff like that.
Sure. It does sound like that's been a whole new endeavor for all of you to endure this time around for sure. How has it been, Bryce, for you recording from home in general?
It's interesting. I really do miss the studio feel. And even though you are in a soundproof booth, normally there's a glass wall and you can look over and you can see the engineer and you can see the director. And if the producer's there, you can see the producer. And I've been lucky enough to work with Alex quite a bit. So I understand like his mannerisms and his face. And sometimes he'll direct without words with just like, I need it more, and I'll know. And I'll go, oh, yep. I know that sound from that face. So I really miss that. It's definitely something that we just don't have. We have no live feed of the director. So, you know, it's another challenge. And of course, like the way I've been recording, there's outside distractions. I have 2 kids that I think are challenging me for who's the loudest in the house. And they've definitely been in a few takes. So that's always a challenge also to battle with the outside noise.
Yeah. And Kimberly, how has your experience been recording from home?
Since I got the booth, it's been a lot better. I'd started out in my closet, and this was a result of the pandemic, getting this set up. So that's definitely helped. Even with the isolation, sometimes if the helicopters are loud enough, it might like leak through a little bit, but usually it's enough that the engineers can do their magic and filter that stuff out.
Yeah. And Deneen, what about you?
Yeah, I just want to say I think that we are, and we're all aware that we're very lucky that we are in this industry and we do this job, that we're able to work safely from home, you know, and at first I didn't have anything set up. I didn't have a home booth or anything because I didn't really need one. And so, like so many voice actors, when, you know, this happened and we ended up having to record from home, had to kind of like put everything together, you know, and you just make it work. And thankfully, the studios and our engineers have been so wonderful, doing whatever they can on their end to make sure that we're able to do that. So, you know, their magic has helped a lot. So as far as like any technical difficulties on my end, I don't know, because the engineers have just made it work and don't tell me and make me feel bad about it. So I do have to, like Kimberly mentioned, sometimes like the connection, you can go one day and the internet is just like great. And we're dubbing, you know, trying to follow this with our own like monitors and everything. But if the internet then drops or it's laggy, you know, you're just having to do your best. There's a couple of times where the internet might lag a little bit and I can't really see what's going on the screen, so I'm just listening to the Japanese and I'm just trying to follow the Japanese at that point, you know.
Yeah.
Said it like this, so hopefully I can just time it out. So yeah, but we're very good.
Yeah, and then speaking of the assist, we get Tisei praying, and we get Yujiro back, as we said, and he appears. Also, you know, that's also when Kirito gets his sword back and essentially cleanse the Red Knights and log them out all peacefully and everything, so they don't have to die painful. Also, we get an outfit upgrade, which this show likes to do. Bryce, how was it for you seeing Kirito in his cool outfit again? I not that his outfit wasn't cool before, but you know, it's like
yeah. I mean, I love that. You know, he's back to the Aincrad outfit. It's the classic Kirito. Gotta love it. Dual wielding and all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you actually, no, it's all right. Actually, that's a question for you. If you could be a fighter like Kirito, would you want to be a dual wielder or a single sword?
I would definitely want to dual wield. I feel like I play a lot of characters with swords, And
This
many
is true. Yeah.
multiple swords. So there's a trend going on. Multiple swords, lots of screaming. I like it.
Yeah.
That's my podcast.
Yes. And then we'll go around too. If you had a fantasy weapon of choice, Kimberly, what would you pick?
I like the dual wielding too, actually. That's what I would pick.
Nice. And Deneen?
I'm going to use my fist because I'm a brawler and I'm tiny. So, like, I'm just used to people picking on me and I have to use what I got. So, yeah, if I had like some little knuckle things, that would be great.
There you go.
Up close and personal.
Yeah. Yes, I like it. I like the energy. I like the idea of the dual wielding, but you definitely would have to be skilled at it, which clearly Kirito is, because, if you don't know what you're doing, it's like, eh. And then luckily Kirito gets his hand back. So it's like, all right, so he's able to do that as well, which is cool. I like this one. Mason points out, unlike Luke Skywalker, he gets his hand back. That's true. And then, see over here. Yes. People commenting on the Ironclad look. Here you go, Deneen. Fists of Fury.
Yeah, exactly. That's
nice.
That's me. That's Ronie.
Nice. Oh, here we go. Shout out to Toonami News. Daniel. Yes.
Hey, Daniel. Thanks for watching.
Oh, I hadn't thought of it this way. But Kirito has this magical girl transformation, essentially. They're all just.
I like that. Yeah. The first one since Gun Gale.
Right. This is an interesting point too. I like how much more cinematic the shift to the Ironclad outfit was compared to when he donned it against the Administrator. It's a good point. Good point. So then we also have the awesome moment where Kirito is able to absorb essentially the positive energy. And it's like, I know they go into the specifics of why it works that way, but it really felt like Visago can't get the good energy, and so it doesn't work for him. For Kirito, being of good energy and good intent, is able to thank you, good energy. I will use you for a good cause and destroy this evil villain. Bryce, how was that for you, seeing this kind of shift of power that what he is able to do, Kirito is able to do at this time?
I just love that he's getting even stronger and even more overpowered, that other skill of absorbing more energy. I love it.
And then we also learn, so the reason is because he has a sacred sword from a sacred tree, cool. Just cause, no big deal. Also, we get the fighting. Again, it's looking like it's not going so well, but Chopper breaks. And yes, Kirito says he's done. He tells Visago, you're done for good. So how good did that feel for you to be like, no, you're done? So finally take out this villain. Bryce, how was that?
Incredible, incredible. And the moment that happens kind of next, where Visago's threatening to keep coming after him, and his plan to lock him there forever, by turning him into the demon tree. So cool. That moment actually in recording stands out. And it's because we were really struggling to make that kind of speech and explaining why he's turning him into it and how he's doing that. And the landing, the final, the hit on there to him, maybe some kids will come by and chop you down. That whole piece, Alex and I spent quite a bit of time on, and I got one of my favorite directions from him ever. So I wrote it down. I actually have it. So he said, this is Alex Von David quote, "It took you too long to sharpen the FU knives." That's the kind of golden nuggets I got. So we just had to fine tune it just right. Too much FU, not enough FU. Perfect amount of FU is what we finally landed on.
It was so satisfying as a viewer, because it's not just a quick, easy death. It's such a, almost for me, I found it just really gross and disturbing of essentially your consciousness is trapped and you're dead here, real world, you're done. Mm-hmm. So I know you weren't exactly the ones fighting him, Kimberly and Deneen, but how was it for you watching and getting to see this villain who had been so much of well, what do we do? How do we win here? Get this kind of ending, Kimberly?
It felt so good, especially because Laughing Coffin has been the big bad for so long. And so to see him finally get his due, that was amazing. And to have it be wrapped up in this tree that has so much history for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kirito, you know, to be what ultimately brings him down was so satisfying.
Yes. And Deneen.
Exactly. It felt so good. Like, and if you like really get into the show, like we're all fans too. It's like, yeah, that's it. Get him.
Yes.
And I just imagine, like, Ronie, she knew. He didn't have a chance.
Right? It's like, no, you are done. Loving these comments, everybody. That's funny of yes. Oh, here. All right, tree puns. Yeah.
Puns. Yeah.
Thank you. Puns. All puns are welcome.
Puns are good. Puns are funny. I like it.
At 'em. Bring them.
But yeah, it I think I wrote it as the Gigas Cider. I'm like, is that a P or a G? My fast note taking there. But yes, the tree, it felt like such a fitting ending to this character because it's like, well, how do you defeat him? And shout out to Xander who joined last week to talk about that character. And I was like, oh man, his death is so like, mwah, chef kiss of like, yes. Also, then we get to essentially God status. All right, we'll go Kirito is essentially God status because it comes down with the healing rain. Everybody is magically better. I'm saying this is cool, but it is one of those like, okay. So Bryce, how was that for you to see that Kirito is like, all right, we can heal everybody. And it's like the Matrix. He's making this world do whatever he wants.
I'm okay with this. I like Kirito overpowered. I mean, he was a beater in Aincrad. I like him kind of bending the rules here in this world too.
Oh, a little bit of a throwback moment, but I like this. The saga of Groot. Groot is way cooler though, but yes, I like it. That's a good one.
Yep.
Yes. I thought I agree that Kirito's understanding of the real world, digital worlds, and everything in between does feel like he could go beyond that mental perception and whatever you think could be possible, because then he also flies, which is really cool too. So this also is that moment that we said that Klein and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're okay, which is really adorable because that's how we feel too, of like everything's okay. But the moment I also was like, about time. This is finally when Asuna comes over and is able to hug him. And I'm like, girl, hurry up and get your man. Because he's been hanging out with a lot of other ladies, just saying. And Yu-Gi-Oh. But the other fan fiction. No, it was so nice moment to have them reunite. And it was, I think it really shows maturity essentially on Asuna's part to let him do his thing and then go to him and not necessarily be like, okay, you're mine, we're leaving and whatnot. She's like, all right, I'm going to stay back. So Bryce, how was that for you for Kirito and Asuna to finally get reunited after another time that they've been pulled apart?
It just made me so happy. I mean, I've said this before, since the beginning of the show, I've really played that relationship as real as possible. You know, I try to live in those moments and live as Kirito as much as possible. So there's a lot of times where I'm kind of imagining I'm saying the lines to Asuna as I'm saying them to my wife. You know, she's been my high school sweetheart. We've been together kind of forever. And that's what I try to put through. So it's that real, authentic love that comes through. And yeah, I'm so happy to see them back together.
I don't think I'd really seen a abbreviation of their name. The ship name, you know, where you combine them.
There you go.
Sure.
I like it.
Yes. No, I love that you described that too, of like, you know, that is a way for some actors is bringing a real life something into your performance. So then I got to ask the fan club of Kirito, the ladies, how was it for you watching Kirito be with his one true love again? Kimberly, as like the fan, and how do you think your character is watching this reunion?
Oh, well, as the fan, I was super excited and enjoying this moment. And like, are they gonna kiss or I don't know.
Right,
Anyway,
I was
love
waiting
they
for that
finally-
too.
Yeah.
Me too. But as Ronie's friend, you know, it's a little, you know,
Well,
Yeah.
concern for her a little bit, I think too. Like, ah.
You're like, yeah. And then Deneen.
I was gonna say, and I've always said this about Ronie, is that she obviously loves Kirito, you know, but I think she has a very deep understanding, and she knows that Asuna, after she came into this world, she knows better. And I think if anything, it's just so much love and respect. She admires Kirito so much, and he saved her and Tisei, you know, so it's that sort of thing. So I think, though, even though there might be a little sting there, you know, she's accepted it. She's just so happy for Kirito because she loves him so much, you know, that he gets to be with his love. So I've always kind of played it like that and thought of it in that way, that, yeah. So, and she has Tisei, she has her bestie, so she's going to be okay.
This is true. Very true. But also, I would say she's sitting over here like, so, you know, if you ever break up, I'm here.
No, that's Alice. That's not.
Yeah, that's for Alice. I'd say Alice is probably first in line for that one too. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Got or another abbreviation here. Kirasuna. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've heard
Cool.
that
Yep.
one.
Then yep. You know, if you're more rooting for Alice, it's like, well, but you know.
Yeah.
And pointing out, yes, Alice was a little bit jealous, which we can all debate too on her, how she loves him, or in love with him. There is a big difference. This is true.
There is a difference.
Yes. But yeah, it is great to have their reunion, and we are all excited for that too. So then we get to see a little bit on the outside world for a moment, and Critter just causing problems and adjusting the time, which we see in a moment is far more serious.
I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem.
This is so fun of recording at home.
You're good.
No problem. Oh, here we go. Nice. Poor Ronie. She ran out the hard way. She's going right now.
As I said, she's part of the harem, but it's I honestly feel like she's, you know, it's kind of like that crush type thing, but I think that she knows. I think she knows. Yeah, she's just happy that he's back and happy that he's okay, and
yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's one of those, she's happy for what she gets at this time. We'll go with that. Sure. Yeah. So
I feel like Tisei might push her a little bit if he, you know.
There we go. Yeah. Daniel chimes in also. Yeah, this is like, oh, she is so sweet. Indeed. There you go. She's so innocent and nice that I don't think she could even have malicious intent for anything of relationships going on. You know, it's like, nah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of those relationships, which we'll ask. Oh, hey, there we go. Welcome back. We're still talking about
ends, even if you're on a live interview.
It's all good. It's as we've seen in many examples of people being live, it's very fun and entertaining seeing family members and pets in people's live streams. So this is a good point. Yeah. We got Mike says Alice has the same relationship that Sinon has with Kirito. I would argue otherwise. Clearly, you're Kirito going Alice's way. You're not Alice's feelings. But Bryce, how do you think Alice feels about Kirito? Is that relationship far more of like a partnership of like warriors, or is it more romantic, in love, or has it changed over time?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, obviously when she first met him, she wasn't a huge fan, but I feel like Kirito has really won her over. And there's some feelings there, but it's hard to say. It's really hard to say.
This is true. Well, we'll just have to wait and ask Alice herself maybe on another day. So y'all have to stay tuned, and then we'll dive into that more, which I think we did talk about that in the past.
Yep.
Even though the characters, whatever we're seeing, I still feel as viewers, we can still interpret more anyway. So just depends on what you're cheering for sure. Then we have, we got a side character that I wasn't even thinking of what they would have, but hopefully Klein finds someone.
I think so.
Yes, of course. Yay. Then we have, all right, so back in the outside world, we have Higa, and I like the nickname Keeks. I thought that was cute. And Rinko kind of update, they're going through everything. It's like, okay, everything has been updated. And I like that they're able to call Kirito in the Underworld, which was like, yes, that's convenient. And you have 10 minutes. Otherwise, time is going to be sped up about 200 years. No big deal. You better get out in time. So we'll go down to the ladies of how is that for you watching and hearing like that this world would be sped up that much and what could happen to our characters? Kimberly.
I was laughing at the moment that he gets interrupted because he's flying with Asuna, and then it's like, whoop, you know?
Yeah, like, hold on.
That message comes straight to his head. Yeah. It's just so crazy. Like 200 years, and then they're told also, you know, you might not wake up in the real world if you stay there for that long. You might be. You know. So, yeah, it's crazy. Oh no, it's wild.
And Deneen, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree. It was just kind of like, what? What? Really?
200.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. I mean, we know human beings lately can live at 100, maybe a little bit more. So to double that is like, whoa. So that'd be a bit much. Now, Bryce, before I ask you though, I like Kimberly that you mentioned that moment. One that he pauses and stays there for a while, even though this is like the moments are ticking away, yo. Come on, let's move. And I like that Asuna's like, maybe we should get going. But I mean, I guess he recovers because then he goes, okay, we're gonna go really fast now. But it was a moment that I'm like, why aren't you just keep going? Why are you waiting? So Bryce, how was that for you of like, all right, you're Kirito, you got 10 minutes or this is gonna happen, pause and then go.
In true Kirito fashion, he's keeping it very exciting. But I love that he takes that moment to apologize to Kikuoka. He's just like, sorry for calling you son of a bitch. I love that he just apologizes right there. It's great. And then his reaction to Asuna, that conversation I thought was really fun too. Just, no big deal. We should probably speed up.
Yeah. He's so nonchalant about it, but maybe he's doing that so nobody's freaking out, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, all right, we're gonna keep this really calm and mellow. It's fine, no big deal. And so I'm trying to read the comments here. We got 15-minute warning. It's like, will they make it and stay longer? You go, you gotta stay and find out. Definitely makes it very like, wait, what's gonna happen next? So we go into that, which is great. But then we get this moment that's like, uh-oh. And I was very worried for our dragons because Alice is with Amayori and Takaguri. And it's like, tells dragons, all right, go. Thank you. You've done your best. Go find spouses and make babies. Like, live happy, healthy lives. But they're like, no, we're going to try to take out Gabriel ourselves. We got this. And it's like, oh, no. It's like, it's not what you think. And it looks really dire. I was like, no, please. I know it's like they're cartoon animals, but I'm still like, oh no, don't hurt them. But Kirito comes in for the assist and saves them and gives a nice glare over at Gabriel, and that's where the episode ends. So Bryce, how was that moment for you of like, yeah, these poor dragons and Alice is probably also in peril, and you're like swooping in literally to save the day?
He's good at that. And I'm glad he saved the dragons. He made it just in time to save the dragons.
Yes.
But yeah, Kirito's timing is impeccable. And if he didn't take the call from Kikuoka, he wouldn't have had such great timing.
Oh, there you go. But maybe they wouldn't have gotten as injured, but he needs that healing rain again.
Right. So it made it work.
Yes. Then we have that kind of nice pause of the end. So for Kimberly and Deneen, how was that kind of cliffhanger? The show loves its cliffhangers. It's one of those like, all right, we're going to pause. So Kimberly, how was that for you of like, all right, and we get the kind of standoff moment, pause, end of episode.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen. That's what
Yeah.
I just love that, the build up and the dramatics. It's so great.
And
Yeah, and
Deneen.
even if you know what's gonna happen, you know, because some of us have watched it or, like, we just know, it's just like when you see it for the first time with, like, our voices and everything, it still gets you like, "Oh, I can't wait till next week. Why
Yeah.
does it have to be a week away?" Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah. Yeah.
Then we have, oh, I like this one. Wait. Trying to get it. Yes, we got Kirito. Oh, wait, sorry, went back. Battle the next episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also,
Get it.
You Shall Not Pass. Always gotta love that.
Reference. I like that. Thank you, Mike.
Yes. And no spoilers, anybody. We're not getting into spoilers. It's one of those obvious. And then anybody clarifications? Yes, I said the word cartoon. Yes, it's an anime. Animation cartoon. Calm down, y'all. Calm down. I love anime. I love cartoons. It's a word. Yes, we have final showdown time. Yes, I'm very excited for that for sure. Yes, and good point of it's essentially the final boss at this point by now.
Mhm.
I was trying to find somebody made it. Oh, here we go. I wonder if Gabriel will be silent or talk the next episode. We'll just have to ask Greg next time. Been a fun villain for sure. So that's pretty much the end of what that episode is. Also, loving the new intro outro songs. I don't know if we've talked about that yet, but yes, so exciting. I'm just like, oh, it's a show. It makes me feel like I'm at an anime convention. They're playing the song at the beginning of a panel and we're going to talk about it, you know?
It makes
And the music throughout the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really good. Like there's a moment, I don't know if you guys played Dragon Age. There's this song in Dragon Age, The Dawn Will Come. It started sounding like that sort of music. And I was all into it and it was so inspiring when Kirito returns. So.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, the score on this show is fantastic, and it's just like really adds to it. Now, when you're recording, is the score on there? Do you get to hear it, or is there times where that's separate track and you do get to hear it as well, or is it like not there? So then this is the final thing for you. We'll start with Bryce. There we go.
Yeah, I like to record with music and effects. It helps you kind of be engaged and really know what else is going on around those moments. And there's some of the like times where swords are hitting each other and it's really loud and it like makes your subwoofers just like boom, like hit really hard. And you just have to, it's a good thing to know because the volume of those efforts has to change. You're battling with that loud music while you're literally battling someone else. So it's always good in my mind to record with, they call it ep19.
Yes, for sure. Kimberly, what about you? Your thoughts on or your experiences with recording what audio is available for you?
Definitely agree with Bryce that it helps with the soundtrack to know what you're working with, to know what you have to cut through, and to know what intensity you have to bring for sure.
Yeah.
And the emotion it can help with too.
Yeah.
Of the moment.
Deneen, go around the circle.
Same thing, especially, it's a little square, but same thing, especially if you're in these battle scenes, you know, it brings like this epicness to it and it helps your performance. So whether you get to, you know, while you're actually recording, get to have it in your ear, or if you get it in a preview, I think it's so vital to be able to hear that music and get a good grasp of what is going on in the scene. It just makes it for you and it makes it real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows you the gravitas.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, yeah, it's fun if you watch it closed caption. If anybody watches it closed caption, it will be like, sometimes it will say like female singing or vocalizing. And it's just kind of interesting to see how do you explain that kind of orchestral swell, you know? It's like so exciting. So that covers what's in that episode, and clearly we're not going to go ahead or anything. But is there anything else that stood out to you in the episode or up till this point that you would like to talk about, or any fun stories from recording? So we'll go around again. We'll start, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited that Kirito is back. In this particular arc, Yeah, definitely some new challenges for me being in the different environment. And then without spoiling anything, there's some, really, really big battles and some really, really emotional moments. And the way that I've learned how to dub and to act is to feel what my characters are feeling, whether it's some kind of pain or whether it's some kind of emotional trauma. So there's some moments coming up where I had to put myself in Kirito's shoes, and it was not fun, but I'm really excited for everyone to see it, and without spoiling anything, I'm excited to see what your reactions are. So please, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of all the episodes that are coming up. And yeah, it's been exciting. To see Kirito back on Toonami.
Yes.
Well, actually, I was going to add on to that question of, you've also had to do for Kirito in these episodes extreme battle highs, but then also immediately be crying. He's crying a lot this chunk of episodes of time. Yeah. Very understandably, he has a lot of trauma that he's been through that he has to come to terms with. Like, as you mentioned, the scene, like ripping his chest open was like so visceral and like, ugh. And then also when he gets to see Eugeo, a different kind of cry. So how was that for you to, one, do those scenes? And then how do you get to that from, you have your yelling and then you have your confident kind of stuff moments. And then it's like, tears of all kinds.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times, we'll attack it kind of strategically. So sometimes we won't go in the exact order of the episode. Sometimes, and with some of these, we saved a lot of the screams to the very end, just so I sound the same after those screams. And there's some emotional moments that we also we got to those moments and I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to jump into that and to kind of open a sore and poke it to the point where it sounds real. So we saved some of those moments. And there's a few in this particular season that were really, really rough. Also, the kind of moments with Eugeo in the last kind of arc. At the end there, when we were recording in studio, I left the studio kind of a mess after a couple of those sessions. So this was definitely very similar. You have to do what you got to do to make it sound right. I'm really passionate about that, and I know Alex, the director, feels the same way. So we'll go through that suffering and that pain for the art, and it's all worth it when I get to hear it back.
I think, and I'll get to the ladies as well, but I wanted to piggyback off that also in the terms of how do you, Bryce, wash away that negative energy when you have to do scenes that are so emotionally heavy or traumatic, because there's a lot of different stuff that happens in many of the SAO episodes. So what is your personal way to get back to center?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not immediate, like it takes work to kind of cover those things back up again. But for me, what really helps me is exercise. So I've been running. I got a treadmill now that I haven't been able to go to the gym. I typically do martial arts, Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and have not been able to get into a gym and do that. So I've picked up running. So just putting in time on that treadmill is very helpful. And I definitely did that after a number of the sessions.
Yeah, no, exercise is a great way for people to channel energy and kind of, put it into a productive use, essentially, for sure. And then Kimberly, anything kind of going back to the first part of it, of anything that happened up till now at this point, or fun recording stories you want to share, that's one part. Another part of, for yourself, if your characters, both Kimberly and Deneen, you have kind of traumatic, scary things as well. How do you, one, get to those moments, and how do you come out of it and, you know, feel like yourself again?
Well, one moment that I loved from this episode that we didn't touch on yet is when Yuki comes back for that
Yes,
moment.
thank you.
And I
Yes.
absolutely love
Yeah.
that because I love that character, and Erica does such a great job with her,
Yeah.
so that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about Alex is that he just allows us the emotional space, and he has the patience to be there with us in these emotional moments. So it's just been an honor working with him on all of these emotions that Tisei feels and trying to be authentic to that, to really represent her loss and yet her hope at the same time, and her carrying on of this memory of, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, I don't know. It's just been very special to portray that, and I hope that comes across.
Oh, absolutely.
It does.
Yeah. And then,
And
sorry, yeah. How do you kind of, you know, get back to your regular self when you have these kind of bigger things? I know going into it is one way, but how do you come out of it?
yeah. Sometimes you just have to let yourself cry. You know, like, if it's that emotional, you just have to, like, release it. And then,
Mhm.
like Bryce said, like, for me, like, getting outside or going for a run, and just kinda, like, getting it out that way is super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Deneen, all of the above questions back
Yeah.
for you now.
Well, for Ronie, what I've enjoyed with her during this journey is that she starts off so sweet and timid, which she always keeps, but she's so like small and, you know, again, she's timid and she has grown so much, you know, and
Mhm.
any time where she stands up for, you know, her friends and herself and she, you know, has kind of that her own badass moment, it makes me feel so proud because it's like I feel for this character and it's like you have grown so much, Ronie. And even in this anime full of all of these really awesome characters who are, you know, again, so badass and they're so epic, those little moments for her is just such a big deal and it's so fun even if it's just like a little like when she stands up, you know, to anybody and you just hear a little like that little determined like it's such a big deal for her and I just always have so much like pride, you know, in those moments. And I can't, you know, don't want to spoil anything, but there's something, you know, there is a scene that was extremely hard and
Mhm.
not hard in that it was, you know, difficult to watch or anything, but it was hard because it meant a lot, you know, just
Mhm.
being a part of the show. And during that session, there were a lot of tears and a lot of crying, and Alex, you know, was there and supported that. And I think Kimberly knows, but
Mhm.
yeah, and it's just like
Yeah.
you know, you get to that moment because you relate to these characters and you understand them, and we've played them for all these years. It's, you know, it's we've been playing them for a couple of years now, and you just have gone on these journeys with them and you feel for them. And so, and then to get out of that, just like Bryce and Kimberly, just getting out, you know, whether it's going outside or exercising, or for me, I like to talk to friends. I'll reach out to a
Mm.
friend and just say, hey, what's up? And get in a better mood because it you do get into these kind of dark and emotional places and just being able to surround yourself with something good lifts you right back up. Yeah.
I like it. Yes. So, no, everyone, thank you very much for sharing your personal experiences of going to these places and then how do you come out of that, because some people it's, you know, just hearing what somebody else does can be helpful or informative to something that they could try to feel better and come out of a negative mindset, what have you, situation. So then we will switch over to, hold on, boom. All right, so definitely everybody, if you have specific questions for our guests, please have those and we'll take a look over at them. But before or while you are getting your questions ready, we're going to go around and what is some voice acting advice you wish you could have told yourself? I feel I might have asked you before, but for a new crowd of folks, what is some voice acting advice you wish you could have told yourself when you started? Let's give you a second there. All right. Is anybody? Oh, and then, but while you're thinking a moment, we also, the fans have appreciated the plushies. Yes.
Yes.
And then Bryce, you had your figure too nearby a minute ago.
I normally have a bunch of plushies, but you guys are getting a sneak peek of the construction going on for my soon-to-be booth, so I can yell to my heart's content. My neighbors won't get nervous.
Yes.
Right? That is a thing, right? You know. And then throwback to, we got, it's been interesting seeing Ronie and Tisay grow as characters since their first introduced. Absolutely. Because they were very, you know, timid and kind of quiet. Interesting, but, you know, you're like, how are these characters going to be part of the fight that's ahead? So definitely have grown as characters for sure. All right, so let's start with Kimberly. What is some advice you wish you could have told yourself when you first started in voice acting?
It's not about the voice. You know, it's about the acting. Sometimes people get way too caught up in, how does this voice sound? How does that voice sound? And it's just super important to remember it's acting, acting, acting. The voice will come. The character will inform you once you have plugged into who that character is.
Yes, I like it. Deneen, what about you?
To trust myself, to, you know, especially when you first start out, you have these expectations that, you know, you need to be a certain way or you need to impress somebody. And really, when you're in the booth and you book a job, you book that job because of you and what you brought to it. So when you're there recording, just be yourself and trust what you have to give to this character in this project. And yeah, it's all about trusting yourself and your skills and trusting that, you know, you're there for a reason. Yeah.
Nice. And Bryce?
I would give myself a warning. I would just say, you're going to scream a lot and all the time. And it's going to be loud and you're going to keep doing it.
Well, then on that note, for screaming, what is some advice you would give people of how do you take care of your vocal cords and everything since you have to do so much screaming?
Yeah, there's a level of scream that you kind of know is gonna hurt the next day. You know when you're damaging your voice, and then there's kind of a level of scream that you can maintain and do for a while. So it's good to know where that is, and I think the only way you can know is by just screaming a lot. So my vocal training might have been different from a lot of other actors. I taught martial arts for years and years and would just yell at kids and yell at kids and yell at kids. And then I would teach adult classes and yell at their parents. So I do a lot of yelling. So that was my vocal training. And I kind of know where that threshold is. And if I hear a scream or I see a scream or I know I'm going to do a scream that's going to push me past that, I'm willing to take myself there, but I can no longer do anything else after that. So I would speak up and say, hey, this one's going to hurt. Can we just do this at the end? And we'll come back and then I can give it everything. And the challenge now has been, without an engineer with me, I'm finding it hard and I have to be creative to scream into my microphone in a way that it can pick up the scream. We were having this problem even in studio. The how loud these screams are kind of not normal. So these very high level microphones are being destroyed and distorted by how loud I am. And I don't want to I don't want to pull back. So the only way to kind of make it pick up that sound is to back away from the mic or kind of like shoot the scream off to the side. So yeah, but then without it sounding like roomy, because you don't want to sound like in the studio. So it's really a challenge. So that's been interesting.
All right, we got some questions here. Start, Bryce. We got Bryce. Who is the darkest character you have voiced?
The darkest character. I don't know. That's hard to say. I've been lucky enough to voice some really kind of insane, dark characters. I mean, the one that comes to mind, and it's dark in an interesting way. I play a character named Henry in Fire Emblem Awakening, and he's like, I would describe him as evil Elmo. My first line of Henry was, "Yay, blood!" He's dark. I mean, he loves death, and that's Henry. But he's the happiest, darkest mage ever.
I dig it. And then I would think your answer is yes, but if you want to expand on, are you happy Kirito is awake?
Oh, so happy. So happy. I mean, I was excited that he was breathing and I was still in the show, even when he wasn't fully awake. But now to be back in the action, this is what I was waiting for. I was so excited to see these battles go down. So this last episode was awesome, and just wait till next week. It's so cool.
Yes. So then we have kind of, if you want to talk about it, so Deneen, Kimberly, Tissé and Ronie have grown and seen their mentors fight, and now it's their turn to fight against the enemy. If you want to talk about how that feels to watch them grow and how they've watched their mentors, we've talked about it a little bit too. But if you want to add anything of just their growth or whatever comes to mind.
Do you have anything
first?
Oh, okay. No, I would just expand on what I was saying. Like, I feel a sense of pride. And, people will be like, they don't do much, or they're wimpy or whatever. And it's like, there are so many levels of strength and bravery. And with what these two girls have gone through and what they have experienced, they kick so much ass. Like, I am so proud of them. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that they're two of the bravest characters in the whole show, because they, despite these traumatic things that have happened to them, they just kept pushing forward. Now look at them. And if you know more of the story, you see where they go even beyond this show. And it's like, yeah, that's my girls. That's my girls.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they're so mentally strong
Yep.
and have such a strong will. And even those moments, like, they don't have much experience, like when they try to protect Kirito from the goblins earlier on, they're willing to stand up even though they don't have the experience when Rinley's like cowering in the back. So,
Yep.
I don't know, I love them. It's makes me so happy to see them grow.
It says, Kimberly says this a lot, they have so much heart. And you can't be that strong and be that brave without that, and I love them.
No,
I think have hope.
Yes,
despite all the darkness they've been through, there's still that hope that they carry, and I love that.
Yeah. Deneen, kind of going off what you said, that's a very good point. And Kimberly, they're going into battle, and they are definitely not the physically strongest characters, but they're still going in. So that's almost braver than the other characters that totally, like, Kirito's like, oh, no big deal, I can take everybody. But, these two young ladies are like, okay, we're going to try our best, but we're not backing away from a fight. So it's like, yes.
It says a lot about a person to know that there's a chance that you may not make it because you're not the strongest and you don't have the skills, but you're gonna do it anyway because that's the right thing to do, and you care about all of these people, and you care about Kirito, and you care about that, and it's important. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. So then also, who would be Kirito's next bestie? I don't know. I feel it would be really hard to top Yu-Gi-Oh. That's a very, unique relationship. Asuna is his bestie, but if there's anybody else that comes to your mind, we'll open it up to within the world of SAO or any other animated show. Bryce, any thoughts?
I mean, there's people in the show I want to see Kirito hang out with. Like, I want to see him hang out with Klein and like just watch Klein try to find a girlfriend. I want him to do more drinking at Egil's bar when he's old enough to actually have a drink. I want to see that go down. But yeah, I don't know who else. Maybe for the chat, who else is a really good gamer in the cartoon or animation world?
He didn't really get to talk with Moonphase and May, but they could be cool online communication friends too, because they're in a different country, but they still game as well too. Yes. And then Bryce is for you, but if Deneen or Kimberly have an answer too. Would Kirito beat Melodious in a fight?
So Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins, overpowered character. That show was super fun. Recorded from my closet, also fighting myself as Zeldris, one of the bad guys in the show. That was really fun. I get this question a lot. Everyone wants me to fight myself. and listen, I don't know. I mean, it really depends. If Kirito's inside a game and he's cheating, Kirito's going to win every single time because he's got God mode enabled. But I don't know how powerful Meliodas is yet. There's still more to learn about his powers, and we'll see. But I always go Kirito if it's in a game. Outside a game, he dies in 1 second.
That's a good point. I don't know, Deneen, Kimberly, are you Seven Deadly Sins fans that would comment on that?
I agree. I mean, if it's in the game, Kirito is going to get everybody. Like,
yes.
He can do whatever he wants.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we got, if a couple people have mentioned Attack on Titan. Bryce, if you want to comment at all about Attack on Titan being back too, and whatever you can say.
Yeah, very excited to see Attack on Titan back on Toonami. I watched the episode last night, and I mean, it's very different and very exciting and interesting. And, Attack on Titan has kept me on the edge of my seat since season 1, and it continues to do that. So if you know what happens in Attack on Titan, don't tell me because I don't know yet. Spoilers. But I'm just so excited to see what happens there, and hopefully there's a lot of me talking on the Toonami block again. Hour, I saw a couple people post, and with that and Demon Slayer late night, it's a lot of me yelling.
Yes. Deneen, I saw you get really excited there about Attack on Titan. How do you feel about Attack on Titan being back?
I love Attack on Titan. I've been waiting for this season. So, yeah. And I've watched it in Japanese, and then I've been going back now, and now that the dub is starting to release. And I have friends that are in it, like Kellen and Caitlin Galt are both in it now. And so it's so exciting. I love it. Oh, but that makes me think, who would win out of Kirito and Eren?
It's
in-game.
I mean, same thing.
In-game.
Like, that's easy. In-game, Kirito always wins. He just destroys everybody. I mean, but like, I don't know what else Eren has, like what other tricks he has up his sleeve. So it's the same kind of thing. I'm not really sure.
Really stubborn, that's for sure.
I'll tell you that my voice would be sore after that battle.
Yep.
Lots of yelling all around.
Yeah.
If they ever did a death battle between those two characters, you're done. You're done.
It'd be my death battle.
Well, and Bryce, as you kind of said, this one,
Yep.
Oh, it's exciting to be part of such awesome shows. So thank you guys for watching, and it's exciting to see him on Toonami.
Yep.
I would think if Bercoli had more time, Kirito and him probably could have gotten along well.
Agreed. Yeah.
Too bad they didn't get enough time. R.I.P. In a way. Yes. All right. Anything else you would like to add, and any projects that you are working on that you can talk about, or anything that's come out recently that you would like to share? We'll start down Kimberly. And where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kimberly Woods. I play Honoka in The Irregular at Magic High School, which is out. Oops, my earbud fell out. Right now on Funimation, so you can check that out. Just super excited for that, and super excited for everybody to see what comes next for SAO.
Deneen, go around that.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Deneen Melody, and then I am also in the same show as Kimberly. It's just so funny. We always end up together. I'm Ayako in The Irregular at Magic High School, and I love her because somebody said she's like a more conniving like Ronie, and I'm like, yeah, she is. She's a little bit manipulative, and yeah. And I do want to throw out there real quick. We kind of talked about this for Kimberly. We want to just mention Brad Venable, who passed away, and he was a very important member of the community, and we loved him and miss him so much already. And I just want to say that we are such a close community, and we are such, we all have each other's backs, and he was such a talented actor, and he's going to be missed so much. I don't know, Kimberly, if you wanted to say.
Yeah, he was such a bright light, just incredibly talented, and just made everybody feel like they belonged. The warmth that radiated from him, and I know that he will continue to inspire so many of us, not just because of his talent, but the way that he lived and the way that he loved. And I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, just wanted to put that out there because we're thinking about him, and I know that we have some friends that are probably watching, and we want them to know that he's here with us. So yeah, and he would want us to do this, and he'd be so excited about us getting excited over Attack on Titan, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for sharing. And it is, everybody processes things differently, and celebrating life is a wonderful way to carry someone's memory on, for sure. Bryce, I was like going after that. If there's anything you'd like to share that you're working on, and any projects that have either been out that maybe people haven't known about, or anything that you can share that you're working on now.
Yeah, it's always such a difficult question because there's a lot of things that I'm a part of that are kind of like mid-record or haven't been announced. Right. So I'll just say the easy ones. Sword Art Online, Attack on Titan are on Toonami. Definitely keep watching, and Demon Slayer. So definitely keep watching those late night Saturday nights. Always appreciate seeing all the activity on social media around Toonami. So thank you guys for that. And you can follow me at Bryce Pappenbrook on Twitter and Instagram. I'll announce all the cool things that I'm a part of as soon as I can. There's a reason I'm building this because I've been busy. So fingers crossed that continues. Always really excited to jump in the booth.
Yeah. Those NDAs, cool. Man, they get you. We say it all the time. I know, guys, that you want us to talk about more things, and there's things you have questions on, but we can't talk about it.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. Voice actors will tell you if they can talk about it. They will be like, everybody, this is the thing.
Shout it from Twitter.
Yes. But it's like, it's all right. They will tell you. Thank you. Awesome. And then y'all can find me at Carrie D. Lane on Twitter and Instagram. Also, make sure to click that subscribe button, thumbs up, notification bell, and a bit of a pivot from anime, but something a bit on the, definitely fun and out there side. Gonna be talking about the newest season of American Gods on my channel as well with my friend Flobo. So really excited to talk about that. It's a really fun and wonderfully bizarre show if you haven't watched it yet. American Gods. Yeah, they're on season 3, so it just came out. Awesome. And actually, I kind of got a request, and we'll do a final farewell. If you could say kind of a goodbye in your character, SAO character's voice. So just whatever kind of farewell words you would like to say in your character's voice, and we'll go around. We'll start. Bryce. There we go. It's mirrored. If anybody's like, why are they doing that? I'm like, it's mirrored because I go this way because it's that way, but I'm like, and then corners are even weirder. But yes, Bryce.
Right. It's always interesting trying to come up with how a character would say.
Oh,
it's always funny. I feel like Kirito would just say, "Catch you later." Very, very simple.
This is a very good point. Kimberly.
He'd say, "Stay cool."
I feel like Tisei would say, "Thank you for being here."
Love it. Yes. And Deneen.
Oh man. This is hard.
Well, it's like one of those things of, okay, talking in accent, you're like, well, what do you want? Or another language. It's like, well, you're talking about, talk about the day. So whatever felt well, as the character would say.
Bye. Oh, and if you have any honey cakes, we can take them off your hands.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you all so much. I know it's threw you a little bit on the spot for that, but it was super fun to hear it. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody watching as well. Yay. Awesome. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. Bryce, Kimberly, Deneen. It was super fun talking about SAO. Yay. And plushies. Yay. And figures. Yay. And thank you so much for everybody who watched this. Thanks for joining us live, for all your comments, your questions. Love it. And if you're watching it later, again, comment down below, and then tune in for next week to see who comes and stops by. All right, everybody, have a great, wonderful day, week, whatnot, and stay safe, and we'll see you next